Coaches, bear with me real quick. I had, I guess, someone asked me a question a while back, and started thinking about it more, and I gave them an easy response, but it was from my perspective and my why. And I just want to be candid and honest with you guys, so that way you can kind of understand how I see things sometimes. It does not make things right. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong either. It's where I am, and it kind of addresses some of the things why I do what I do. And I wanted to share it with you because it might help you understand me more. It might, I don't know, do a lot of things, but here it is. It was asked me, like, you know, Coach, don't you like camping in the fall? Coach, what about hunting? You ever hunted? Coach, you're an avid football player, but do you go to football games? Do you, you love the Bears, you love college football. Do you watch any games? How about fantasy football? You get on that. Um, you know, and I point blank was able to answer those things like, well, no, I don't, because yeah, I'm a football coach, and being a football coach, um, doesn't allow me to have the time to do those other things. And he looked at me strange, because in his mind, he's like, well, those things are important to me. And if I was a coach, I'd still want to do those things. And that's where I had to be careful. And I didn't go there. I've long learned a long time ago that not everybody's going to see things through the same lens that I see things. And so the expectation that everybody sees things the way I do is totally inaccurate. And I obviously don't feel that way. So please, again, just allow this as an opportunity for you to kind of learn and understand me and my perspective a little bit, and why it's easy for me to do what I do. So, the coaching at Calvert High is not, it's married to my occupation. I mean, obviously coaching is not a job to me. I know it's not a job to you, but it's married to my occupation, in that I am a teacher at Calvert High too. So like, I'm embedded. This is my deal. I mean, this is where I spend most of my hours of my life. But I can tell you, from the time that I started coaching Little League Baseball when I was 17, and many of you guys know that story, um, it became bigger than just the action of playing or coaching, right? And it really, I love baseball. I love lifting, the training part of the workouts and stuff, and I love football. But it's more than that, and I think that you guys understand that. For me, why I do what I do. Back then, when it first started, when I was 17 years old, it was because it helped fill me. I didn't need anything else. In fact, I yearned to get on that baseball field, even if it was 9 hours a week, because when I was there, I felt better about everything else. And I sacrificed everything to do that. And honestly, when I look back on it, it wasn't a sacrifice, because there's nothing else I wanted to do. It made sense financially, because it was certainly a whole lot cheaper to go out and coach than it was to buy things to build a high performance car, or buy guns so I could go hunt. I could go on and on and on. Buy fishing gear. All those things are really great hobbies, and things that any one of us can do in our spare time to kind of fill your cup, to get to your moment of peace and solidarity. For me, my peace and solidarity comes when I do my morning prayers, church, and truthfully, when I'm spending time thinking about our program, you guys, and our players. And that's where it's at. And when I go to the field, and I'm not looking at the field to teach football, I get to do that, and I love it. But if it was just that, it would not be enough to fill my cup. What I do on a field that helps fill my cup is I look at the players and I see their progress as becoming great young men. And every single one of the guys in our program have improved exponentially in some way. And I find that. And it fuels me, makes me feel good about what I do. Because if I die tonight, I know that I have had some level of value in improving someone's life and giving them a different perspective, not because they can run 44 the right way. And I want to teach that because I love the game. And truth be told, that kid and you guys wouldn't be connected together if it wasn't for teaching how to run 44 the right way. But the reality is that when I see that kid, that young man, that future husband running 44 the right way, and I see that he's coachable now, more coachable than he was 2 years ago. I see that he's bigger now, he's stronger now. I see that, he has aha moments because he's listening to us engage. Those things fill my cup. When I see you guys serving the same way that I have tried to serve this community in so many ways, that fills my cup. And that's all I need, and then of course I go home and I know I need my wife, I need my mom, I need my dogs, those things fill my cup in other ways that the school can and football can't. Certainly going away on vacations, I specifically block out the beginning of the summer, right literally to the day we get out from school. The next day we're on the road, we're going. And then literally the day after our last camp, we're going away again. Those things are important to me, and they help fill my cup as well to make sure that I'm rested and rejuvenated to come out there and put in the hours necessary to be a coach for this program, to serve you and to serve our players the way I think that I should, the way I feel like I'm called to lead. And so when people ask me, they can look at me puzzled, like, you're a football coach and yet you don't watch games on Sundays or Saturdays. And I say no. And I say no with a smile and a pride, because I don't miss those things when I'm spending time with you or with the kids. I don't miss, possible when Chicago comes to town and it used to be I get regularly hit up. They're playing the Redskins or they're playing the Ravens. I got tickets for you, coach. And that's okay. Sunday I know I'm not coaching, but I need that time to go to church, and I need that time to make sure that I've carved out some moments for me and my wife and my dogs and my mom, if possible, to spend time with them. So it's okay. And I'm not upset by that. It doesn't bother me, because at the end of the day, I am so fulfilled with everything else we're doing here at this school and this program. Hunting, I have weapons at my house that I enjoy shooting. And obviously I don't shoot them a lot during the fall. And I certainly don't get to hunt, because a lot of your hunting is during the fall. And I would love to engage in hunting. And I often ask my brother-in-law, who's a big hunter, and I want to connect with him, what would it look like, from the hunting? So, well, I don't know how you would get into it with your schedule of football. And I politely walked away. And I had to find other ways to engage with my brother-in-law, because, it's important that I do that. But I just can't do it hunting, because, again, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but with our players on Saturdays, our coaches on Saturdays, our coaches throughout the week. That's just where I'm at. And that's the way it's been since the time I started when I was 17. That this has always been, to a degree, the way in which my cup gets filled. And again, if it was just about teaching football, then you know what? It would be a chore to some degree. It would be a sacrifice to some degree. Well, I'm just teaching football, but so I want to sit down and watch some football. Yeah, but no, I get to teach it and I get to watch. I get to watch the guys that I have personally invested in do what they love to do it together, create synergy, create a unity in our community, grow exponentially, be future dads. I get to get text messages from Micah Murphy, who reached out and just wanted to encourage me and encourage you with the impact we've had on him as coaches years ago, and that he's engaged and he's excited to get started. And that he commends us in the way that we've made football a healthy environment for people to become the best version of themselves. And so, when it's asked to me, so coach, what did it look like when you started 17? Well, when I started 17, I can't count on one hand the number of times I've missed practice or games. Up to this point, I mean, we're talking, up to 31 years of coaching. I just didn't. That's who I have always been, because, I mean, you guys knew a couple years ago I had a stent in my bladder because I had a huge kidney stone, and I had surgery, put the stent in, and I was at practice literally either the same day or the next day, and I overexerted myself. And the doctors told me that could happen, but I didn't want to miss out on being out there with the guys. And it caused some serious blood clots and things, and it forced me to stay home. And but I mean, that's where I was at. My grandfather passed, during the summer workouts, and I need to be back with my guys on the field. I missed a day, I know, for his funeral and burial, and I had to come back. I missed a couple of days last year during the summer training cycle because of my vein restoration surgeries. And, uh, you know, I, of course, get the benefit of having a schedule that's set up to do that because I teach, right? And I know not all you guys teach. I know some of you guys have some jobs and occupations that may pull you away from here. But I just shared this because this was asked of me. It was asked, like, what does it look like? How do you do that? How do you make every practice? How are you at every game? And it's because I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And so I had to be careful because that's the lens that I look at. There is part of it, like, I feel like I'm letting the kids down or coaches down if I'm not here. That I don't care if I had 30 guys out there coaching. I still feel like my role and responsibility as program is valuable. I could be coaching offensive line and 3 offensive line coaches with me, and I still believe I have to be there every day. Not because my instruction of the offensive line play is more important or better than anybody else's, but because my relationship with those kids is important. And I know that when that kid connects with me, it's not the same as connecting with somebody else. And I'm not the all, end all, or be all. I just know that that kid could connect to me differently than he connects with anybody else. And I'm the connection he needs. And come hell or high water, I'm going to be there so he can connect with me. And that's the way I do things, the way I see things. And so that's my lens. And I have to oftentimes put that lens on careful, regulation, because I don't want ever you guys to think, but I don't want you guys to think that I'm expecting you guys to be me. I'm not. And certainly I don't want you guys to think, because I don't make sacrifices to family. I don't. And I don't want you guys making sacrifices to family. I do spend a lot of time here, but that was kind of disclosed to my wife when I got married. This is who I am. This is what I'm called to do. And she has her own deals and stuff that she spends a lot of time with. And so that was something that we arranged and talked about when we were in marriage and getting married. But yet I do, and I have to be conscientious to ensure that when I am with her, I am with her. And I encourage you guys to do the same thing too. And that's why I want to have and host that event on Sunday, Labor Day weekend, to ask you and your families to come out and just embrace. It'll start at 5:00. This is a formal invitation. I'll send a reminder out in an email to you guys so that you guys can invite your families. Start giving me a head count of what it looks like so that we have the right amount of food and resources for us to enjoy. But I just wanted to share that because I know sometimes we sometimes can feel like the leaders that are leading could be putting unfair expectations or may not see it from their perspective. And then sometimes you guys might think that I am seeing things in a certain way that you guys need to follow up with. No, I'm not here to judge or be critical. I just want to make sure that at the end of the day, we all are trying to serve our kids and our community the way we're supposed to, the way we're called to. And that at the end of the day, we can go to bed every night saying, you know what? We did it. We did it the way we're supposed to do it. And I can go rest easy my head and meet my maker, knowing that I used the day to impact the lives that are around me and to help ensure that they're having an opportunity to be their best version of themselves and reach uncommon greatness. I love you. I can't wait to see you out there in the field. I'll talk to you soon, coaches. I'm out. Boom.